Okay, I want to do a video on DE and the selfishness of DE function. Actually, I think it might be play function because I've seen this with a friend of mine at work. She's ESFP with high play. She might be play first, definitely play second. I see this with the DEs. I take this gym class every Saturday morning. I take this class, and it's group fitness class. There's a woman in the top far right of the class, and she's a DE person. She's either second function or first function DE. I don't know. And so I notice, like, she'll put spots out for people. And sometimes you do that, like you come with someone and you save a spot for them. But she'll do it with several, and these aren't people that she comes there with. They aren't people that she chats with in between at the water break. She just puts out spots for them. And I notice, like, some of these people come in late and she'll put the spot out there, and I've been like, okay, like, I would never do that. Like, my first thought is, I don't just like look at it and blow it off. I'm just perplexed because I would never do that. Like, I would tell someone, you want your own spot. If you're not with me, I'm not going to save your spot. And I'm not going to start saving random people from the class's spot. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand, okay? First of all, I'm perplexed. Second of all, I'm like, whatever. You're going to do stupidity. Do stupidity, okay? So then I notice all of a sudden she's and I was like, oh, I have to get here early if I want a good spot, because she just puts them all out, like, people like to be up the front, to the sides, they like be away from the fan, and so she takes all the good spots for these people, right? So I get there early and I get my spot, and I've been noticing once that she puts even more, so like once there was 15 spots that she put out. Not only that, like, I saw her putting them out like a little worker bee. Like, she's taking, and this is a step class, so you're taking these big steps, and then you're taking the two risers, at least two, sometimes four, depending on the person. So she has to remember, do they want two or do they want four? Then she has to carry all these over there. She's like a little worker bee running around. Then she gets a text. I saw what she was doing. People were texting her. She's like, oh, they texted me. I got to put one out for them. I'm like, you're like, this function, stupidity. This is the stupidity of the why are you doing too much, girl? You're doing too much. And I was just like, you're running around like a chicken head cut off. Like, what the fudge? And so then I was like, I'm going to say something, right? And I had been sick, I'd been sick. I missed a lot. And then I had an appointment in the morning that ran late. And then there was a substitute. And so I missed almost all of January. And I go today. And again, she's put out, I count about 8 spots, right? I'm thinking, fuck this. I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to say anything. I got there. I got a decent spot. So I put my spot and she goes, oh, that's Margaret's spot. She's not going to be here. That's okay. I'm like, Margaret? I go, who's Margaret? She goes, oh, the older lady that comes here. Now, here's the thing. I have no problem with Margaret, okay? But you're making me have a problem with Margaret, DE. You're making me have a problem with Margaret here. And I said, fuck Margaret. I go, this is first come, first serve. And then I'm pissed, okay? Like, I'm flipping this lady off behind her back. And I'm pissed. And I'm thinking, rude. And then she's like, oh, someone else texted me. Oh, okay. And she runs out there, and I'm just like, that's like, you're doing way too much. And not only that, is so incredibly selfish. DE is the selfish function. You think you got your own little fucking tribe. I don't want to be part of your tribe. I want to be part of your little family, okay? And here's the thing. She puts these steps out, and the people don't show up sometimes. Or a lot of the people she puts these out for come 10, 15 minutes late. So she gives them a really good spot, and I've seen people come in on time or like right at start of class, and they look around and it's full, but kind of not, because there's a spot. She puts several spot holders and the people aren't there, and they go, oh, and they turn and walk out. And I'm like, that's rude. That's really rude, because it should be first come, first serve. And now these people can't come in here because you're saving a spot, and sometimes the people don't show up. So she'll run around in the middle of class and put them away after she decides, oh, they're not going to be here. And it's like, why are you going to, like, who's paying you? And yeah, I'm thinking, first of all, you think I want to, it's like there's this expectation that this is what the tribe does. The tribe does this, and then we take all the spots, and you have to be part of the tribe, and then we'll save your spot. And I'm like, fuck you. This is first come, first serve. These people don't show up. This is a lot of spots, and they don't show up. And then people come in. When I come in late, you know what I do? I take the first available spot. I'll go in the back. I'll go by the fan. I'll go wherever. I've never once gone to her and said that. And the spot she told me was Margaret's. I'm there a lot. In the last year, it's been mostly I've been there because I come almost every Saturday, every Monday. Barely miss them. January I have, but other than that, I barely missed it, and it's been me. And Margaret doesn't come all the time, and then Margaret kind of fits in wherever. And yeah, she likes that area, but she fits in wherever, and she doesn't say a word. And for you to say, this is Margaret, I bet you Margaret's like, shut the fuck up. I come in when I come in. Don't start doing this, because now I have a problem with Margaret, and I don't think Margaret wants that. So this is stupidity. DE or play. I think it might be play. Because here's another thing why I think it's play. Because I have a friend at work who's an ESFP, right? So she's not lead DE, but she has play in her first or second function. And here's another thing I just find incredibly, like, we see completely, like our conversations can really click a lot, but here's where we completely don't see eye to eye. So at my work doesn't pay for parties or whatever because we're government, we're taxpayer money. So like if you do a party, we'll chip in, or sometimes the supervisor will buy things, but they buy it out of their own money for their department. They might buy them bagels or donuts, but it's from their bank account. It's not from work bank account, okay? And there's 2 departments on the floor I work on. One completely, we'd have nothing to do with it. We don't, management, their whole like hierarchy, it doesn't even touch ours. We just happen to be on the same floor. Now, occasionally, because we're on the same floor, we'll do potlucks together, but there's always an email, hey, we're going to do a team potluck. Here's the sign-up sheet. Like, that's the only thing we've done together. And we did one together, and my ESFP play friend was like, I think I'm going to bring pizzas. And I'm like, first of all, how many pizzas are you going to get? I go, just get, if you're going to get pizzas, I go, get it and slice it in do appetizers, make it small slices, little tiny squares, because we're already going to have, it was like a Thanksgiving or Christmas potluck, so there was going to be like turkey and pot roast and whatnot, so there's a lot of heavy stuff, so people probably just want a little bit, like a little cheesy bread. So just, I said, if you're going to do that, get one pizza and just slice it in small slices. Don't make it like one slice. So, she had issues with her pizza, and she got it late, and she's like, they didn't slice it. So she just left it out, full on pieces and everything. Anyway, and then she bought 2 pizzas. I think she told me she spent $60. And I was like, you know what, girl? I would never do that. I would not participate before I would spend $60 on a potluck. Now, I have made dishes before that cost a lot. I do a pasta salad with artichoke hearts and just some really good ingredients. And yeah, it probably does cost me a lot of money, but I also have more money than her. Well, I don't know. That's hard to say because sometimes when you're young, you have free money because your parents are buying you a lot. But anyways, I was just thinking I wouldn't do that. Okay, I just wouldn't. You're a very young person here with limited cash. I would not spend $60 on pizzas, but you did it. Okay. So then all of a sudden, when I see food out, I don't assume it's for me. Okay. I never assume it's for me. It's usually very clear when it's ours, and I'm very cognizant of not taking other people's food. Like I think that's rude. And I saw a bunch of pizzas on the counter. We weren't planning a pizza party or anything, so I assume it was the other department. So I see someone from the other department. I said, oh, what's the occasion? And they said, oh, we did some project. We were working really hard, staying late. And, the supervisor, manager got us these pizzas as a party, appreciation. I said, okay, cool. Now, one, I do have a special diet, so I can't eat a lot of those things anyway. But, I still am like, oh, what's this? What's going on? Anyway, so then my play friend tells me, guess what? She has all this juicy cheese maze. She's like, um, there was pizzas over there. And I was looking to see, she doesn't eat pork. I was asking, hey, is this one have, should I ask so and so, from the apartment, does this, any of these have no pork? And he's like, well, I don't know. You'll have to ask so and so. He got these, and it was the manager, right? So you'll have to ask so and so. So then she went to so and so, and she's like, oh, do these have pork? He's like, oh, I got these for my team. We had a special project we did, and blah blah blah. She's like, oh, and then she told me, she's like, I was so embarrassed. Oh my god. I go, well, did you have a slice? She goes, no. But I thought it was for everyone. I go, don't worry about it. I go, it's very hard. It's ambiguous. You don't know. Don't like stress out about it. I understand the embarrassment a little bit, but you didn't take the pizza. Don't worry about it. But then she was like, you know what? That's rude. I bought pizza for the potluck. And I'm thinking, this guy bought, I looked at the pizzas, I saw where they were from, I counted how many boxes, and I'm like, that's at least $200 out of his own bank account that he spent. And just to think you can take pizzas, I mean, it's one thing if he's like, oh, here, one person have a slice, but you can't just give one person a slice unless you kind of hide it to the side, right? You can't just say, oh, yeah, you can have a slice, and then someone else sees it and they think they can have a slice. Then you just can't do that. So these were his team's pizzas. I'm not going to touch them. And she was like, I think that's so rude. She's like, I bought pizzas. He ate my pizzas. How come I can't eat his pizzas? And I was like, but it's his own money. That was different. That was together potluck. We were sharing food. This is for his team, special project. He probably spent $200. Like, I think that's rude. That's rude. So I don't get that either. This whole thing that anyone owes you anything. I feel like DE is like that. They feel like they're owed something. And I think that is incredibly selfish. Incredibly selfish. You're owed these little spots that this is not how it works, okay? Now, if it wasn't a big deal, like I have no problem like looking at say this gym class and being like, okay, yeah, we're out in the outdoors, it doesn't matter. Like there's so many spots, we're never gonna fill these spots to your heart's galore. But when it gets crowded and you're saving spots for people who are late and don't show up, and then I go into an empty spot where there's nothing, and you still tell me fucking Margaret's there? Honey, no, 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 no. You're selfish AF, okay? So, yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that. And, she doesn't get, she gets slapped, okay? I probably won't slap her. I don't have masculine sensory, but I think I'm going to tell her, you know what, this is very rude. And, first of all, when I come in late, I take whatever spot I can get. And don't tell me Margaret has this spot. Where is Margaret, first of all? Second of all, no, honey. You cannot do this. You see how many spots you take up? If this was just Margaret's spot you're holding, fine. But you see how many spots you're taking up? I'm going to tell her, like, make her see, put her face right in front of it and say, look at this, DE, play, function, whatever it is. I don't know. It's so annoying. It is very tribe because she's just like, oh, they texted me. Oh, oh. And she goes and gets the step. And I'm just like, Urgh. So anyway, very selfish. That's why, okay, Essie, I agree. We can be the most controlling. DE, selfishest POSs I have ever met in my life. Most selfish. And yes, we can be the most, I completely agree. As an ASFP, I can be incredibly controlling. I haven't been like, I'm so controlling. What the fuck? I have said that before. So, DEs, I'm not so sure if they have it at the top. Maybe you can't see it. But hopefully these double decider play people can see it eventually. I feel like the woman at my work, she's very young. She's under 30. I don't feel like she's as double decider as she can be. I think, like with the pizza thing, I even gave her a whole bunch of options. Like, hey, this is going on. It probably costs this much money. Da 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 da. And she was still like, it's rude. It's rude. It's rude. I should be able to have his pizza. He took my pizza. I should have. And I'm thinking, did he really though? Do you know he took a slice? And if he did, he probably took one slice. But still, do you not comprehend like why that's just doesn't make sense? And maybe that's my number 4, like being able to see a larger scheme of things. Although you would think like DE would be able to see it, but the DE as a when you're overdoing it is, I don't think being a number 4, there's dysfunction. I don't know. I guess you can have dysfunction in your social type. But because obviously I can think of number 1s who are a little bit too in out of their head, but that's usually when they're also aligned with DI. I don't know if there's any DE number 1s that feel like they're, feel this way. Of course, I have to think of them all. But yeah, I don't know. Um, it's kind of like the DE number 4s, I'm sure, are the most annoying. And the DI number 1s are the most annoying. And then with the whole responsibility ones, the OE number 2s are probably the most annoying. Oh yeah, I've known OE number 2s, annoying. And then probably the OI number 3s are the most annoying number 3s in a number 3 way. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's just something I want to vent about because I think it's play, to be just incredibly selfish. Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And I think the lady should be taught a lesson somehow, some way. Something needs to get into her head, some sort of rock bottom, whatever rock bottom she's gonna hit. That's gonna make her realize this. But I'm definitely, I was shocked when she said like Margaret. I'm like, who's Margaret? And this is first come first serve. Then I was like, fuck Margaret, And I think she was just like, but I'm gonna say like that was more like, I'm gonna say to her like, hey, look, because you really need to tell people specifically, otherwise they brush it off like, oh well, that was probably the wrong side of the bed, or that was probably she's mad at the person behind her. People brush it off all the time. You have to be really direct and say this, and this is the problem I'm having. I have a problem with Margaret, and I don't like you making me have a problem with Margaret. So that's my story. DE's being incredibly selfish. Yeah, so and how I can be very controlling. I can do a whole video on that. I'm gonna have to think of it. I'm not in the gist of it right now. Like right now, I'm in the gist of that story. Once I have something, it'll be a better, more potent video that I could tell you about how I'm super controlling, like when it happens. I'm not having anything happen right now, but I know there's been times where I've been sitting going, God, I'm so I am so controlling. I am so controlling. Like that's my problem, is I'm so controlling. And but I don't have that right now, and I want to be in the midst, a little more in the midst of it. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm sure it's with information, but yeah, I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about it and do a video on that. But anyway, that's it for today.